thing with sorry, the thing with self-development that I have constantly seemed to notice, not just in myself, but in people I associate with as well, is that there tends to be a time where it seems like you're either leaving the people you have around you behind, or they are leaving you behind. Let's say, for example, like you're getting more money than your friends, and it starts to like seem like every single association when it comes to like financially related stuff, the people you have to associate with are in a much more higher caliber than your friends. You don't basically fuck with your friends in that kind of area anymore, because you've changed yourself, you've improved that part of your life, you've actually gone to the next level of that part of your life. Now, there are two things that tend to happen when it comes to like getting to this point, whereas you're leaving people behind, where it seems like you're not growing. There are two choices you can make when those two things happen. The two things that tend to happen will be, one, you end up growing, ego builds, and once that ego builds, you feel like these people, your people, are no longer on your level anymore. So you're like, I can't really roll around with these people anymore because we're not in the same caliber, and they haven't done anything to put themselves where I'm currently staying or the position I'm currently at, and then you abandon them. And the second thing is that you tend to keep growing and you can just be with your friends. You still chill with your friends, you still hang with your friends. Now, the two choices when those two things tend to happen is you can either choose to be a douchebag, someone who doesn't value the friendship or the relationship, and leave them behind, or you can be number two, someone who then helps their friends lift themselves up and get them to the position that you want them to be in, or even the positions they want to be. But at the same time, I feel it's something that you have to be aware of, because everyone's perspective of self-improvement, everyone's perspective of growth, everyone's perspective of actually getting to that top is not the same thing. Some people might consider, when they're able to buy like 7 Lamborghinis, like billions of Bugattis, any type of house they want, they might consider that as, oh yes, now I'm finally in a position where I'm at the top. Some people might just consider it, when they're able to just afford housing, afford the minimum things of life, they might consider that as being at the top as well. So your top might not resonate with someone else's top, but you have to be able to understand, first of all, what exactly it is that your friends or your family members or people associated with will regard as their top, as when they get to the highest point of their lives. So that ego tends to not build, because we're humans. That tends to happen once we see that we have, or we're making progress in a certain way, and most people aren't keeping up with that progress we're making. Ego tends to build, and we tend to feel like we're better than them. But the thing is, we're not better than anyone, because there's always someone higher than us. So you need to actually understand that everyone's perspective is different. And with self-improvement, some people choose to not want to grow. Some people might want to remain in a stagnant position, and you might want to pull them up and they still will refuse to grow, and that's okay. Life hits people different ways, and different people have different perspectives of how life is. But what this message, or the message I'm trying to pass across to you, is that when you know it's not their fault, when you know it's not something that they caused, or when you know that it's not something they want to do, whereas like stay in a stagnant position, and you are improving, you are getting to that top, it's like a responsibility for you to pick your friends up and take them there with you. You basically have to lead them to the position you want them to be in, or you all want to be in, so that you guys can stick to it with each other. And at the same time, I personally feel that you can still be friends with them as long as you're goal-oriented and goal-focused, even if they don't want to be on that same level with you. That's exactly why I said different people have different perspectives. You need to be understanding of their perspective. You need to understand that if you have a relationship or friendship or something that you really value, then it has to be something you take with high importance, or you take with very high scrutiny, so that you don't end up losing it because of the fact that you're trying to chase life at a pace that the other person doesn't want to chase life at. So don't let your ego build. Don't let yourself get capped off from actually seeing things from a much different perspective, from a much broader perspective, a much reasonable perspective when it comes to like self-development and your relationships and how you might grow and people might not grow with you, but you can still maintain relationships with them. It's very possible.